Well, thank you for coming back so promptly. I'd like to welcome you to our fireside chat with the Mastros this morning. You know, we've picked the... Please, we've had our chat time. So, you know, we've picked our best speakers over the years at the Inside. It was yesterday, because I still use their book. You know, so many of us know about. But when you go back to the ancient and the basics, that's what Robin and Michael Mastro have done. Robin has a master's degree from Antioch. Her focus is on creating sacred space. He's worked with some major corporations. They've started the Art for Living Foundation. They're best-selling authors. They are the premier educators in Vastu. Please welcome them back, Robin and Michael Mastro.
This good? Oh, I can hear myself. Oh, good. So thank you all for coming today. It's an interesting topic that we're talking about, which are tools for times of transition and tools for transformation. And couldn't be a better topic for us. This has been a very wild week. For us personally, last Wednesday, Mike's dad, who lives in Palm Springs with his wife, fell, hit his head, and he's been in the ICU unit at Eisenhower, unconscious. Didn't know if he was going to make it. Ended up having brain surgery to relieve some of the pressure from the swelling and the bleeding. And yesterday, he opened his eyes before we left to come here. So... you know, sometimes it takes something pretty awful to bring you to realize what is very essential in life. And for an Italian family, it's la familia. And also to know that what's most important is love, you know. And sorry, I'm just a little emotional. It's been pretty hard. But I don't think we would have made it without the things that we're going to teach some of those things to you today. And because when you have a lot of stress in your life, what happens? You start getting afraid, right? You start thinking about all the things that could happen. And you start becoming very anxious, afraid, confused. You don't think well when you're under stress. So you also regret things that happened in the past, don't you? I mean, it's like your mind vacillates between, I wish I could have done something, and oh, what about the future? And the hardest thing to do, but the most essential thing to do in times when you're very afraid and under a lot of stress, is to bring yourself back to the present moment, which is really the only place we have any control of any way. Hard to do, because I think that maybe a lot of you are realizing, especially now, and I've noticed for ourselves in the last couple of years, it's like a mastery to just ride that razor's edge of staying present, because it's crazy times out there, right? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could make you worry and anxious. So when you do fall off that edge, you take a big tumble. It's a little different than it used to be. Coming back to center again takes some work, doesn't it? I mean, you notice that you really fall into fear, and you stay into fear longer. So you have to rebuild that strength that's essentially in your nervous system to maintain some sense of balance. One of the things that we use that we have found to be a phenomenal asset is the breath. The breath is key to being in the present moment. Because what happens is that the mind wants to figure it out. It really wants to go, I'm in charge. I can handle this. I've done this before. I know how to do it. We'll just do it my way. And so it tries to take over and think its way out of a bad situation, think its way into figuring out the best thing to do next. But sometimes when you are really in a very highly volatile time, a very stressful time, the mind is like, it's like if you were drowning and you were trying to hold on to water so that you wouldn't drown. It's not going to give you the buoyancy. It's not going to be your life raft. It just takes you farther down. So the breath is essential. And it has a tendency to delink the mind and relax the nervous system and make you feel wonderful. So we're going to use the breath. We're going to do a little exercise. How many of you do breathing exercises at home? Great. So we know that as we age, what ends up happening is that we kind of stop taking deep breaths. We end up panting, basically. Our breath is very shallow. It comes from here. We don't use our lungs. We don't expand our lungs. And respiratory therapists say that what happens with aging is that we just don't take enough deep breaths. We don't fill our lungs, and we get a lot of lung problems, pneumonia, bronchitis. We lose the capacity within the lungs to really take a deep breath. So we need to breathe. We need to exercise the lungs, just like going for a walk. We need to breathe every day. Not just shallow breaths, but long, deep, slow breaths. Another thing that I think is phenomenal is the power of sound. How many of you like to sing? We may not think we sound good, but we're going to actually use the breath and sound today, and it doesn't matter if you can't carry a tune, because it's not important. What's important are the sounds we make. These are ancient Sanskrit words. How many of you know what Sanskrit is? Okay, smart crap. Ancient language, one of the root languages. So these are sounds that are just more than words. They actually move energy in the body in a very specific way. And so we're going to chant using these ancient sounds, and it's going to move energy up through the energy centers, the chakras of the body, and it's also going to balance the 5 elements in the body: earth, air, water, fire, and space. Now, you're going to feel very different on the other end of this. And we're going to do this with your eyes closed, and we're going to do it for 11 minutes. And it's going to be very relaxing. So normally when you breathe about 17 times a minute. So we're going to take the breath down, because we're going to start taking deep breaths. And we're going to bring it down to maybe 3, 4, 5 times a minute. And we're going to do this together, and I'm going to start so you can hear what it sounds like, and I will be chanting all the way through. But I want you not just to try, I want you to give it 100%. You know, there's a lot of difference between trying and doing, right? You can, has anybody tried to turn on their car? No, you just do it. So we really want to give it our all and do it for ourselves. And we're going to do it with our eyes closed, because we're not going to care what somebody else next to us is doing. This is our experience. So we want to keep it to ourselves. We want to keep our attention on what we're doing. We're going to hear the sound, and we're gonna sit afterwards, and Mike is going to time it, and I'm going to, when it's done, you're going to hear, and then I'm just going to ask you to sit quietly with your eyes closed and feel the energy. Now, I use this chant every day. It's really a sanity saver. And I've actually recorded it because I think it's so important. And it's a reminder. A lot of people use it in their homes so that they remind themselves to do this. It's very, very powerful. It's called the long, slow Om Namah Shivaya. And each of those sounds, Mike is going to tell you what each of those sounds stand for and do. You got to speak into that.
So as she was saying that each syllable of the sound Namah Shivaya is associated with one of the 5 elements. Na is earth, Ma is water, Sh is fire, Va is air, and Ya is space. And they also correspond to each one of your chakras. Na is the base chakra, Ma is the genital or sex chakra, Sh is the navel area, Va is the heart area, and Ya is the throat chakra. So they're all kind of linked, and they just, like as Robin was saying, they start to move the energy up the spine. You feel very peaceful, very good. It moves the energy from the mind to the heart.
Okay, so let's close the eyes. Get comfortable. You have something you're going to time? Okay. Now I'm going to sing it one time through because there's a melody that goes with it. And then you're going to give it your all. I want to hear voices out there. And it doesn't matter if you're singing on tune or not. I'll carry the tune. You just do your best. And if you need to take a breath in between these long breaths I'm taking, it's okay. You know, we're not looking for perfection. We're looking to have a good experience, okay? So let's close the eyes. And I'll do this one time through, and then you can kick in after that. Om. Sit comfortably and easily. Bring a smile to your face. Just feel the energy moving through your body. Slowly, gradually, and in your own time, you can open the eyes. Feel the peace in the room.
So you see how sound can be quite powerful to affect our physiology and the environment. And there are many, many mantras or sounds that can bring about certain shifts in the energy. I mean, I think everybody here can feel, and you can just nod or raise your hand, the shift in the energy that took place in your body and in this room. It's very powerful. There are mantras or sounds for attracting more love into your life. There are mantras for attracting prosperity into your life. Mantras for personal power. And this particular mantra is one that really attracts that personal power. And mantras for healing, very powerful mantras for healing that can really change the physiology no matter what kind of health challenge you may be going through.
And that mantra, which is very difficult, want me to do it one time throughout me?
Sure.
It's Om Triambagam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pustivartanam Urvarukamiva Bantana Mrukyor Mukshi Amamrutat. You could play it on a CD very, really low with no sound at all on auto reverse in your kitchen, and it infuses your food with that energy of healing as well. So these mantras are very powerful, ancient, and they do change the physiology and the environment. So we love them. So just like there are mantras, which are the sound, yantras are the physical representation of sound. Does anybody know what a yantra is? you've seen the Om symbol? Well, the symbol emits a frequency just like saying Om. And if you were to see Om written, it's not O-M, it's actually A-U-M. And each of those letters has a certain vibration that moves energy up the body. And they actually did a study in, was it Germany?
Switzerland.
Switzerland, Dr. Hans Jenny, where he said certain words into a microphone that was attached to a plate of crystals, very like crystal dust. And as he was saying these sounds, these sacred sounds into the microphone, symbols appeared in this crystalline dust that were the form, the physical form of the sound, that were the yantras that are ancient. So these, Mike is really the pro on the yantras and the mantras, so maybe he can talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, as Robin was saying, they had two metal plates with a wire attached to the plates and these crystals on top. And as you would chant certain sounds, they would see that the crystal would start to vibrate and form different patterns. Interesting, very, very similar to the work that Dr. Emoto has done on water. How many of you guys are familiar with that? Most everyone. Yeah, I mean, when you say a certain sound, if it's a very harmonious or peaceful sound, it will actually change the crystalline forms within that water. If you say a word that's not, it could be very negative, then those forms become very chaotic. And if it's a sound like the sound Om, the crystalline forms become like mandalas, quite beautiful snowflake-like patterns in the water. So that the sound, the healing mantra that Robin just chanted, even chanting that in the shower, if you learn it, it can actually transform the quality of the water, and it comes into your pores and it affects a very healing energy in the body, as well as the water you drink and the food you eat. There are three things that really affect our quality of life, and I'd say 30% is what you do for yourself, for your physical body, how you take care of yourself. If you're resting properly and eating good food and exercising and doing things that reduce stress in your body. Whatever you can do. Exercise does that, and meditation and yoga. All of these things reduce the stress in the body. And our quality of life depends on how much we can reduce that stress, especially in these challenging planetary times when, it just seems like everything's speeding up, and everything that is not true to life or in integrity seems to be falling away. All the banking systems and monetary systems that are not in integrity seem to be falling away, and it creates a lot of chaos and challenge in your life. And so if you can reduce the stress, you can stay more centered, more focused, more balanced. And they say we only use about 10% of our mental capacity, some obviously more than others. But if you can reduce the stress, you can actually start to tap into subtler and subtler levels of thought, so the subconscious mind. I think many of you have noticed, maybe you're working on a problem and you just cannot think of the solution, but just to relax a little bit, to bring your stress level down, bring the energy a little bit from the head into the heart, the solution will come right away. We're tapping into that subtler level of our consciousness. Someone was speaking here about consciousness and how it affects our physiology and environment. And it's very, very true. How you feel about yourself, how you feel about your environment, it reflects right back to you and creates a positive shift in your life. So chanting mantras can have a huge effect in reducing stress in the physiology, in the environment as well. So the second thing that really affects our quality of life is our environment. We are electromagnetic beings, and we live in a sea of electromagnetic energy. And especially nowadays, computers are everywhere, wires are everywhere, all the different pipes and wires that come towards your house or your office, sewer, water, storm, power, gas, cable. All of these things bring radiation into your environment. And where these lines cross within your environment, it builds up stress, it builds up radiation. And oftentimes when we go into someone's house to do a consultation, we see that those geopathic stress lines will cross on a bed and build up radiation and reduce your immune system and its ability to make you feel strong and healthy. So it's good to be aware of this and find ways to reduce the stress in your environment, which is the body of your body, basically. And Robin was talking about mantras. Mantras have this effect on not only your physiology, but the environment. And the yantra is a visual representation of a mantra or sound. And there are, just like there are thousands of mantras to create certain change in your life or certain change in your physiology, there are thousands of yantras that can do the same thing. And when we were talking earlier about the 5 elements, each one of the 5 elements is related to a different direction within your home or office. Water is in the northeast, fire is in the southeast, earth is in the southwest, and air is in the northwest. The very center of any space is the space element or ether element. And in a home or an office, when one of these 5 elements is out of balance, it creates a kind of an imbalance within the house. Some energy gets stuck, it creates stress. And so what we're trying to do in the field or the science of Vastu Shastra, which is the mother of feng shui, is to reduce the stress in your environment. And when we can do that, that is the other 30% that really can improve the quality of your life. To keep energy moving and not get stuck and create stress. Because wherever energy gets stuck, it has an impact on some aspect of your life. If it gets stuck in the northeast, that's the water element, it'll affect your spiritual and material growth, your finances. If it gets stuck in the southeast, it'll affect your health. If it gets stuck in the southwest, it'll affect your business, your career, the support that you get in life from friends and family. If it gets stuck in the northwest, it affects the air element. And air has to do, Robin was speaking about how air affects our mind and our emotions and the quality of our thoughts. When our thoughts are harmonious and peaceful, our relationships will be, our speech is harmonious and even, and our relationships are harmonious. So if the air element is out of balance, then it affects our relationships as well. And all the 4 elements, earth, water, fire, and air, come out of the space element, which is the center of your space, your room or your house. And so if there's something out of balance, like a toilet there, this can affect every aspect of your life. So this is what the science of Vastu does. How many of you guys have walked into a house or an office and it may be very beautiful, multi-million dollar home, and you just don't feel right, you feel uneasy? I think everybody's had that experience. And Vastu is the science that explains why we feel that way. It's one or more of the 5 elements is out of balance. So that's the other 30%. If you can love your home, the gentleman was speaking about consciousness affecting your physiology and environment. If you put a lot of love into your home and you work at making it very organized and neat, this can really create a positive feeling in your environment. And if you can do some things to balance those 5 elements in your environment, and we'll talk about that a little bit, that can make a huge shift in reducing the stress.
We have about 5 minutes.
5 minutes? Okay. So I'm just going to wrap it up. But I'm going to give you guys some tips to go home with today that will help you balance those 5 elements. So Vastu is a vast science, but very simply put, it is about aligning your physical body and your environment, your office or your home, to 2 forces of nature. One force of nature is the positive solar energy that comes from the east, and the other is this positive magnetic energy that comes from the north. The solar energy supports our health, and the magnetic energy supports our finances and our prosperity, basically. So what are the things that we spend many hours a day doing? Sleeping. So the direction you sleep can have a huge effect on the quality of your sleep and how refreshed you wake up when you sleep at night. Everybody can start thinking about which direction am I sleeping. And when I say direction, it means the direction your head is in. Like if it was south, your headboard would be against this wall. If you're sleeping to the north, your headboard would be against the north wall. So positive magnetic energy comes from the north, and our body is like a magnet with the positive polarity in the head. So if you're sleeping with your head to the north, it's like bringing 2 positive ends of magnets together. What happens? They repel. It disturbs the blood flow, circulation, digestion, and you don't wake up feeling refreshed over time, and it can affect a dis-ease in the body. So everybody's thinking now which way I'm sleeping, I don't know. But main thing is don't sleep with your head to the north, northeast, or northwest. West or east or south or southwest or southeast is fine. So that can make a huge difference. What's the other thing we spend many hours a day doing? Baseball. Or working. Some of us work. Some of us have to work still. And yes, sitting at your computer. So the direction you face while you're working can affect your ability to be productive and efficient. And so they've done a double-blind study, and they found very simply that facing north or east, not northeast, but north or east can really improve your productivity and efficiency. We go into Microsoft and Oracle and Intel to help people be more productive and efficient. And even in a cubicle, you can do certain things to balance that energy, that environment, to help people be more efficient. And one of the very simple things is facing either north or east while you're working. North supports, believe it or not, left brain activity, which is analyzing, working with numbers, accounting, and east specifically affects our creativity. And so a lot of jobs involve both, but facing either direction is very beneficial. So the third thing that you can do is reduce the clutter in your home or office. And that's the toughest part for everybody. And you don't need to do Vastu. You don't have to have remove the clutter to do Vastu or implement the basic principles of this science, but it helps a lot. And we, just like we like to, we naturally hold on to stress without letting it go. We naturally like to hold on to all the things that we've brought into our life, and we're constantly bringing in more stuff. But anytime you can take even a drawer and organize it, get rid of the things that you haven't used in over a year, somebody else may benefit from, you feel a lot of energy come into your body because clutter holds stress, it holds energy, and it can make you feel tired and sluggish. Some people feel they have to have stress to function. It is absolutely not true, and they've done lots of studies on it. To use your full potential, to open your heart, to be who you really want to be, reducing stress and reducing clutter can make a huge difference.
I guess time is up.
Yes.
We've gone over. We forgot to bring business cards, which is unfortunate, but we do have things out there, books and tapes and products that we have also a mailing list out there, and we'd love for you to put your email address down and your name. Let me give you how to reach us if you have a pen and paper. Michael's phone number, his cell, which is connected to him 24/7, is 206 661-1117. Our office number in Seattle is 206-328-0122. We have several websites, but our products and services website is www.vastu creations.com.
Creations with an S on the end.
And then we also train and certify people to become practitioners. We have a new graduate. Joan took our training last year, and she is practicing practitioner here in the area. And that's the www.AmericanInstituteofVastu.com. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions or want us to sign books, we'll be out front.
Yeah, and if you want free Vastu tips, we send them out every couple of months. You can sign up with your email on that email list.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.